All right, hi everyone. This is Ariel Clay, the San Joaquin County 4-H program representative, bringing you another online record book tutorial. Today we'll be going through probably the biggest chunk of the record book, the personal development record, the PDR form, and how you make it in the online record book. So for the most part, we're going to be looking just under this tab right here, which is the Personal Development tab. I'll show you in a little bit what these drop-down items do, but for now we're just going to click on Personal Development. And that takes us to the general Personal Development Report page. So if you just click on this tab up here, it will always drop you off at the first dot of this navigation. The nice thing about ORB is that it breaks the PDR into kind of manageable chunks, and each one of these dots in the navigation bar are a different section of the personal development record, so that you can easily kind of jump around and just look at the thing that you're wanting to look at. At the end, it has everything put together so that you'll have a chance to see what it'll look like all together when you print it. But for now, we're just going to take this one step at a time. So the PDR instructions and member detail is the first step of it. And for the most part, all of this comes from your 4-H online account, so where all of your enrollment information is. So you won't actually type in any of this information. It'll be automatically pulled in from 4-H Online. So if you notice that there's a mistake, like let's say your birth date is actually December 3rd, 2000, what you would need to do is go into your 4-H Online account and make the changes there. And after you save it in 4-H Online, the online record book will be automatically updated, usually within about 15 minutes. It can depend on your connection and how busy the sites are. So once again, you're not going to have to type any of this in. It'll already be here even the first time you log into your online record book. However, the profile picture you can change, and you do that here on the online record book. What you'll do is you'll access your profile, which is up here, and then go down to photo albums. And there will already be an album set up in your album tab called Profile Photos. Right now I have 2 pictures in there. This is my current profile picture, but let's say I wanted to change to my lovely Prepare Yourself, It's Record Book Season picture. I would just click here to make it my profile. Now if you wanted to add a different picture to be your profile picture, then you would go up to photo and video, and then it gives you the option of uploading new pictures. So they can be a JPEG, a GIF, or a PNG. You're not going to want a video as your profile picture, so you can ignore those for now. So I would just go to my pictures after I chose a file, and let's pretend that I'm a big green star. And I'll open that and upload. And kind of the default is putting it into profile pictures, but I can put it into any of my albums or create a new album. But if I want this for my profile, I put it there. And description, big green star, just like me. And then if you want, you can connect it to a development area. So like, was it related to a communication skill you did? So like if you gave a presentation and you had a picture of the presentation being done, you can connect it to this. It wouldn't show up anywhere in your record book, but if you ever went back into your ORB account, you could kind of see what different pictures and videos you have related to different things. All right, and then I'll save the photo. And then it shows up in my profile pictures. I don't know why that went back there. Let's try making that my profile again. And if we go back to my personal development record, yep, my profile picture changed there. So that's how you do this first section. All activities, this doesn't actually show up anywhere in your final record book. Basically, as you add things into your PDR, they'll all show up on this page. So you'll be able to kind of see at a glance what you have and have it entered into the record book and what sections you assigned it to. Now, right now, we're technically in the 2017-2018 year, but this dummy account hasn't been re-enrolled for 2017-2018. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to 2016-2017. Okay. And if I go back to my PDR and my all activities, you can see everything that I've entered into my PDR so far. And it gives you the basic information like the date the event was, what area of the PDR I put it into, how many hours, and if I want to go in and edit it right there, I can just, oh, whoops, edit, not view. I might have confused ORB for a second here. Nope, there we go. Okay, so when I clicked edit, it takes me back to the original entry information I put in. Pardon me. So if I realize, oh, it was actually 3 hours, not 2, I can update my event. And it updated here. So this is a handy just kind of review tool if you want to double check and see, okay, did I put in my, that August event I went to? Did I put in my 4-H nights at the port stuff? Now, moving on, we have the club meetings attended. So these are all of the club meetings I've already entered. So then at the bottom, you would put in how many meetings you had in total during the year. So let's say we actually had 11 community club meetings that year. We would save that. And then your percent attended would automatically update. Now the meetings attended is calculated based on how many entries you have up here. So I have 8 entries, so I have 8 meetings. Now if I want to add a meeting, so like maybe I forgot to put in my April meeting before, then I would go up to activity and add a club meeting. And if you're enrolled in multiple clubs, it will list all of the clubs that you're enrolled in. Most people are just in one club, so you don't have to change anything. But then I'll put April club meeting. The date, let's say April 20th. And it's for this current program year that I'm logged into. So we're in 2016-2017, so I want to put it in for the current year. The event location, let's say it's at the Cabral Ag Center. You can also put in addresses if you want, or you can put the name of the building or like Mrs. Hernandez's house or something like that. As long as it's a location description that you and somebody in your club would probably be able to follow, then it's good. Let's say it was 1 hour long, and then anything going in just into your PDR, you don't have to put a learning experience in, it's optional. If it's something that you want to also show up in your annual project report form, so your APR, then you'll definitely want to put down a learning experience as well. So we'll just put down something general. We did fun things. Oh, whoops, I forgot the level. Okay, so the level is a drop-down menu, and you kind of choose what level of involvement it was. So this was a club meeting, so it obviously would be club unit project. Okay, and now we add to the event. Okay, and it updates pretty quickly, and there it is, my April meeting, and now I attended 9 meetings, and I have 81% attendance. So that's how you do your club meetings. And then star ranking. So if you need information about star ranks, I'd recommend going to our county website. Just Google San Joaquin County 4-H and look for the Star Ranks, Awards, and Scholarship tab on the left navigation, and it'll tell you all about what the star ranks are and why we have them. But basically, this gives you a little table that shows you how many different types of activities you need to have for different star ranks. So there are 8 types of activities that you can have in your personal development record. And we'll go into each of them in a minute. But to calculate what you have for a particular year, you put in how many activities you have had in the past. So how many were recorded in your record book from last year. This is cumulative. It'll add up every year. So let's say I've been in 4-H for 3 years, and in those 3 years I've done 4 project activities. And then this year I did 2, so my new total would be 6. And then you would see that that's enough for bronze and silver. The nice thing about ORB is it highlights in green the ones that you've fulfilled. And then you just keep on doing that for each of these. Now, if it's your first time doing the online record book, but you did paper record books in the past, you can actually change this column. So when you the first time you enter your online record book, the past column should say all the zeros because it doesn't know what you've been doing. So to change that, you go to Enter Default Values, and then you can change these numbers here to reflect what was in your record book before. So let's change leadership or lifestyle activities. Let's say I actually had 25 in the past, and I can save that there. And you see it changed that to 25 and updated my totals. So yeah, don't let transferring your information from past years into ORB deter you from using ORB. You don't have to go in and make entries for every single thing you did in the past. You can just update this past column to reflect what your total from last year was. Okay, so let's say that you want to see more information about what you're doing. So for example, here in communication skills, I see that I'm short on getting my silver, and I want to see, okay, what have I done so far? What have I recorded so far? I can click on communication skills, and that link will take me to the part of the PDR just about communication skills. So that's a handy feature. All right, and then at the bottom, it will let you record what your current rank, if any, you have for your star rank. So if you don't have any star ranks yet, you would just click none. In this profile, I'm pretending that I already have my bronze star, and that I'll be applying for my silver star, though I'll need to get a few more 4-H presentations to be approved for that. But you can always change what you're applying for. Like maybe I did a ton of stuff and I want to apply for my gold. But yeah, for now we'll leave it on silver. So that is the star ranking section of the PDR, which takes us to section 1 of the actual activity recording. So 1, projects completed this year. Now, kind of like the first section where a lot of information had been pulled from 4-H Online, your projects are also pulled from 4-H Online. So if I highlight the projects tab, you can see that I have baking and bread making, which is showing up right there, cultural arts, which is showing up right there. But then equine isn't here. It's not reflected in my project list. And the reason for that is I've already completed my 2 APR forms here and submitted them. The equine one I haven't submitted yet. So that's why it's not showing up in my PDR project list yet. So let me show you how to do that real quick. So just like the PDR, it breaks the APR into smaller chunks. But the one that we're worried about right now are report and submission. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom of an APR form, it'll ask you this. Do you want to submit your report? Once you submit it, this will change to let you know that you submitted it. And if your leader is on the online record book as well, they have the option of digitally approving it instead of signing it in person. But let's say you decided, oh, I made a mistake or I forgot to put something on my APR form. You can always cancel your report submission and it'll come back and you can edit it again. But for now, we're going to leave that submission right there so that I can show you that equine is now showing up here. So all three of my projects are now showing up here because I've completed my APR forms and I've submitted them. Now, often people ask, well, wait, I'm actually in 4 projects. My arts and crafts project isn't showing up in here. What's going on? If it's not showing up in your project drop-down menu, that means that you're not enrolled in the project on 4-H Online. So once again, you'll want to log on to your 4-H Online account and make the changes there. So just go back towards the end of the enrollment process and there's a section about club and project enrollment and you'll want to make any changes necessary in there. And after you save it, the online record book will be automatically updated within about 15 minutes. So that's all the projects. Now, project skill activities. So project skill activities are pretty much anywhere that you demonstrate a skill or a knowledge or some kind of knowledge in front of an audience or judges. So like a livestock quiz bowl would be a good example of that. Showmanship, fashion review, food fiesta, presenting a dish there. Lots of things can qualify as project skill activities, but basically the criteria is what I just said. You're showing a skill or a piece of knowledge that you've obtained related to a project in front of an audience or a panel of judges. So if you want to add one, you use this activity button. So it's not a club meeting or a project meeting, so that means that the activity type will be general event or activity. So if you want whatever you're about to enter to also show up on your annual project report form, then you'll link it to a project. So let's say we're going to enter in Horse Achievement Day. That's obviously related to my equine project. So I would click here to link this entry to my APR form for my equine project as well. So let's say I did Horse Achievement Day. And it was, let's say, June 13th. And it's a project skill activity. I'm showing various riding and horse husbandry skills that I have to a panel of judges. So that would definitely count as a project skill activity. The level would be a county level event. Our Horse Achievement Day is county. It's current program year, event location, let's say Heart's Desire Ranch. I think that's where it's usually held. And it's usually a pretty long day. I think they're out there for a few hours. And once again, you can put in a learning experience. So did horse stuff. And actually, you are going to want to put down a good learning experience for this. It does say it's optional, but at the same time, it's linked to your equine annual project report form. So this will show up on your learning experience will show up on the APR form. So if you just put down did horse stuff, that's not a great description, but it's fine for our purposes here. Right, you add the event. And there it is. It shows up, and now you have two project skill activities. Next, we have events attended. So events attended is anything 4-H related that's basically an organized event that is not a scheduled project or club meeting. So this could be your club holiday party. This could be any county level competition. It could be a social outing with high 4-H. It could be 4-H camp. It can be anything that's 4-H related that isn't a project or a club meeting. And you always enter those in here. I'll talk a little bit about double dipping and what we mean by double dipping. But Section 3, events attended, is one thing that you don't really have to worry about that. So in short, you'll want to add all of your 4-H activities as a 4-H event. And I'll talk about how you can also enter some things in another part of your record book in a minute. So once again, to do that, you would do an activity. So just like we did for project skills activity, so it's not a project meeting or a club meeting, it's a general event or activity. Then you would connect it to any projects that it was connected to, do the activity title or description, choose the date, and then you would just leave it here on general 4-H event, PDR 3. Choose the level, event location. All of this is exactly the same as the project skills entry we did, except instead of clicking here, we clicked here. And then you would add the event, and it would show up in the correct chronological spot in this big list of events. Okay, so then we move on to leadership activities. So leadership activities are any form of leadership. So obviously being a officer would be that, going to a leadership conference, like the teen camping retreat is something we take our junior camp counselors on, and we start teaching them some leadership skills there. Being a committee member or a committee chair would definitely count. There's all sorts of ways that you can lead in 4-H, ranging from the club or project level all the way up to being a state ambassador or going to national conference. So once again, that would be recorded using the activity link, general activity, and you would make sure that you selected leadership development PDR 4. And that would show up here once you added the event. All right, moving on to Section 5, that's citizenship and community service. So you would record all of your community service or citizenship activities. So participating in a canned food drive, visiting a retirement home, doing service learning projects. Also, if you went to, let's say, Citizenship Weekend, which is a 3-day conference about citizenship and how the government works. That would definitely go here. So just like a lot of things in the PDR, you record that by going to activity. And this time making sure that you select citizenship and community service. And once you add the event, it would show up in this list. Okay, moving on to communication skills. This is everything from radio appearances to representing 4-H at to outside audiences. So for example, Egg Venture is basically a community event for 3rd grade school children, and 4-H had an outreach booth there. So if you helped out at that outreach booth, that would be a communication skill. Doing an interview contest would definitely count as that. Giving demonstrations or speeches at presentation day, writing a news article and having it published in a newspaper or on the county blog. There's lots and lots of different communication skills you can record here. And you guessed it, once again, we'll be doing activity. And this time it'll be Communication Skills PDR number 6. So you'll notice that when you select communication skills, you're given two choices here, 4-H presentation and not a 4-H presentation. A 4-H presentation is actually a very specific thing. Basically, the rule of thumb is if it's something you would have given at speech and presentation day, then it would be something that would count as a 4-H presentation. You don't have to do it at a presentation day, but that format is what we're talking about. So it's something formal with that follows certain guidelines. Anything else, so writing a news article, doing a radio appearance, giving a project report at a club meeting, that would all go under not a 4-H presentation. So if you're ever not sure if it qualifies as a 4-H presentation, there's actually a presentation manual, and you can access that on the county website. I'll show you where that is real quick. So if you go to events and calendar, give it just a second, guys. Let's go to county events because I know where that is. And if you go to presentation day, we have a link to the 4-H presentation manual right here. And then you can download a full copy. So basically a 4-H presentation follows the criteria set out here in the California 4-H presentation manual. Okay, and then the rest is just the same. Now the reason why it splits it into those two categories is if you actually go back to the star ranking page, you'll notice under communication skills, there's this row of numbers, but then in parentheses, it says 4-H presentations underneath, and then it has a number in parentheses. So for your bronze star, you're required to have 12 communication skills. Of those 12 communication skills, 4 of them had to have been a 4-H presentation. So we want to make sure that all of our members are doing some formal, kind of high quality public speaking skills in order to get their stars. Okay, so that was the communication skills. Hopefully all of that makes sense. Then we move on to honors and recognition. Okay, and I actually have been meaning to remove this. A blue seal would not actually count under here, so let me delete that word. You can always delete stuff. You just go into edit and delete. So honors and recognition are anything that would be considered pretty outstanding. So first or second place, like second place at a demonstration contest would count because that's a pretty big deal, even if it's not first. Being a county winner or a gold medalist, achieving your bronze star would definitely count. Being best of show at AgFest, anything like that. Anything that's a major accomplishment, you can put into honors and recognition. The way you would record that is going up here to award. And let's say gold medal at Fashion Review. Excuse me, I'm having some allergies today. Usually we have ours in March, I think. Let's put it on St. Patrick's Day. Won a gold medal for my coat entry at Fashion Review. All right, so since it was a gold medal, it would be a major honor or milestone. So you would click here, and this would mean that it would definitely show up in your personal development record. Now we also have this other option called ribbon, certificate, or seal. This is for any lesser awards. So let's say instead of a gold medal at Fashion Review, you got a red seal. that wouldn't be considered a major honor, so then you could record it as a ribbon, certificate, or seal. Those do not show up in your personal development record. However, if you end up linking it to one of your projects, so let's say I was in the sewing project and I got a red seal at Fashion Review, I would want that to show up on my sewing annual project report form. So I would link it here, and then that would show up on my APR, even though it wasn't showing up on my PDR. Okay, so for origin or level, let's mix it up a little bit and pretend that this was a state fashion review. So it's a state level instead of county. In this case, it's not connected to any of these projects. Well, let's pretend that it was connected to cultural arts. Maybe I made something related to a culture that we have been studying. And then I would add the award. Okay, and it's showing up on my main page feed. But to get back into the PDR, we just click up there, and we were on Honors and Recognition. And there we go, gold medal at Fashion Review. Okay, and then finally we have lifestyle activities. So a lifestyle activity is any kind of organized thing that you have in your life that's positive. 4-H is actually kind of cool in that we want you to be well-rounded. We don't want you to necessarily only do 4-H. We know that there are a lot of other great opportunities out there. So, for example, in here I have my dance lessons at Rhythm Studio. But if I wanted to add something else, I could always add another activity. Once again, general event or activity. This would not be connected to a project because this is outside of 4-H. And it's, what should we do? Let's say honor band and clarinet player. And you would put the starting date. So this is probably something that I do all year at school. So something that goes for multiple days or multiple months even, you would just do the starting date. So let's say that school started September 8th. So that's when my honor band activity started. That's what I would put in. And then it's my lifestyle activity. This would probably be kind of on the county area districts or club. Yeah, I'd probably put it here because it's not an individual activity. It's in my school district, so I would probably put district. Current year, event location, let's say Red Hawk High School. And hours, you would actually calculate how many hours you spend doing your band project, doing band. So these numbers can get really big. I'm going to say 140 hours of band and practice. And then you would put down learning experience if you wanted to. So learned. I need to learn how to type. Learned clarinet music. And you would add the event. And there we go. So I have my honor band and my dance lessons. Apparently I'm an artistic type of person. All right, and then that brings us to wrapping up your PDR. So if you've gone through all of these stages and made sure that you've consistently been adding everything that you've put in, this should be pretty quick. So you go to Report, Review, and Submission. And basically it just kind of pulls all of those small pages together and stacks them in the order that it would be printed in. So this is good for just kind of skimming over and getting an idea of if you've done everything. So if you see, oh, I don't have any project skill activities recorded, I might want to go back to that section. Now, if you want to see what it's going to look like when it actually prints, you can do View as a PDF. And that will show you a preview of what it'll look like when you actually print it off of the online record book. So you'll see right now there aren't any signatures on here. I'll show you how to do digital signatures in a second. But if for some reason you print it off like this, you can always sign it in person. You don't have to go back in and get a digital signature if you don't want to. And then it has my star ranking table all put together. And then each section of the PDR will get at least one page dedicated to it. So you can see often when you print off of the online record book, there's large bits of white space. You don't need to mess with the formatting or try to get try to combine 4 and 5 onto one page to save paper. How it prints out is acceptable, and you won't get dinged any points if you're going to like county record book competition or anything like that. So this is what it looks like when you print it off. So it's always good to just give it one last look before you actually print. But now I'm going to show you one more thing. I mentioned digital signatures. So if you go down to the very bottom of the review and submission page, just like the APR form, it has this submitted option. So if you submit the report, now when you scroll down to the bottom, it tells you when you submitted it and gives you the option of calling it back if you need to make any changes. But now if you view it as a PDF, your digital signature is right here, and it automatically puts in the date when you digitally submitted it. So now you don't have to bother signing it. You'll notice that the CCL line is still blank, and that's because they have not digitally signed it yet. If your CCL does use the online record book, when you hit submit, they'll be able to see that you've submitted it, meaning that it's ready for a signature, and then they can choose to approve it. And if they do approve it, then down here it'll say approved, and then you know if you print it, it'll have their digital signature as well. So you won't have to run around getting signatures, which is always nice. All right, so this was definitely my longest video. The PDR is probably the biggest time commitment of the record book. But as you can see, if you just kind of take it one step at a time, you can easily see the different parts of your record book as well as it all put together. I have individual videos about how to add activities or awards, so if you are still confused about how I did some of that stuff, please look at the other videos and you should be able to find one on that. I'll also be posting a number of examples of how to record different events. So I mentioned a couple of times that you're only supposed to count an activity once, with the one exception being 4-H events attended. You always put any kind of 4-H event you attend in that section. But let's say you took a dish to Food Fiesta and you presented it to a panel of judges and described what you had made and answered questions and everything like that. You could count that as a project skill. You're showing off your cooking abilities, so you could definitely count that as in section 2. However, you're also communicating with people. You're giving a presentation. So since you were communicating something, you could count it as a communication skill. The thing is, you can't count it in both. If it fulfills the criteria for 2 different sections, then you have to choose one. That's what we mean by not double dipping. You can strategically choose which one you want to put it in. So like I have plenty of project skills here, but I maybe need some more communication skills down here. So I could choose which section to put it in, but I couldn't put it in both. Once again, the one confusing exception to that is 4-H events attended. You always put any 4-H event that you attend in there, and then if it also qualifies for somewhere else, you can put it somewhere else. Okay, so hopefully this helps you put together your PDR. And please consult other videos as needed. If you have additional questions, your county 4-H staff and club leaders would be happy to help you as well.